Yeah, 2023, that was a really important year to be honest for me because if I would have won Final X, I would have been waiting, I think. Yeah, well, sorry. If I would have won Final X, I would have hopefully won Worlds and then been sitting in the finals for Olympic trials. So that's why, that was a huge decision for me to make for college reasons because I would only be 2 years out for Olympics, and so I decided to go with Sunkist. But then unfortunately I fell short against Adeline, and honestly good for her bringing home bronze. That was amazing. She qualified the weight, stuff like that. So then 2024 obviously was my year to make the Olympic team. But I feel like I've grown so much like over the past 2 years, especially having such an amazing experience at the Olympics, that like now I have so much knowledge that I'm ready for whatever competition, and especially since it's domestic, I'm familiar with even my opponent, Brooklyn Hayes. She's actually one of my friends, so it's funny that it's just crazy when you think about it. When you get a certain level, you kind of keep re-wrestling people and your friends because like it's just such a small population of them. So I'm really excited for tomorrow. I've been training really hard with Hawkeye Wrestling Club and Izzy Style, and then during season with the Iowa Women's Wrestling Program. So I've honestly been nonstop after the Olympics, and I think I'm ready to make my first senior world team.
Did you grow from that 2023 Final X against Adeline to the Olympic trials where you wrestled again? Did you make adjustments? Or was that important for those adjustments?
Yes, I definitely made adjustments from 2023 Final X to Olympic trials in 2024. It was a lot of mental. I knew I had the talent, I knew I had the strength, the speed, everything, even technique. It's just, it's crazy how huge mentality actually is. I truly believe it's almost 90% of the sport, is what people say. And so it was really important. That entire year, actually, before the Olympic trials, I lost every tournament. I didn't win Junior Worlds, I didn't win U23, lost the Final X. Even in the ranking event in Spain, stuff like that. So it was a lot, but I learned a lesson from each one of those losses. And so we always just took a positive out of the negative, and that's like flipping like my mindset from that and just having the childlike mentality is what really, I think is what really propelled me to making the Olympic team. So I continued that since then, and, it's been doing wonders so far. And so, I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm just going to let it fly, have fun, and just do what I do best.
You were always popular at making the Olympic trials finals as a 17-year-old, but did winning an Olympic silver medal take it to another level?
Yeah, I think honestly, people do ask like, did it put more pressure and stuff like that? And honestly, I think it's helped me be more confident. If anything, instead of me looking at it as having pressure, I look at it more as me being more confident because, if I could do that, imagine what else I can do, especially domestically. And so I've had one of the toughest tournaments of my life, which is the Olympics, and I think I did, not that bad, bringing home a silver medal. So, I think at the end of the day, like, it did change me a little bit, but it's helped me realize that I can do anything. And so the overall goal at the end of the day is 2028 gold. And so each one of these tournaments, including Final X, including making my first senior world team, this is just training for that specific tournament. So.
Do you get nerves going into a Final X like this?
I look at it this way. Like, if I don't have nerves, because it's happened before. I've gone into a match where I'm just like, all right, I'm going to roll this girl, whatever, but then I barely win. It's like sometimes if you have nerves, it's actually a good thing. You're more wary of what your opponent's going to do. You're faster, you're quicker, you're, seeing the shots clearer. So honestly, I know I'm going to have nerves tomorrow, but I'm not going to have nerves to the point where they overwhelm me because, I just trust in the Lord, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and so He already has the plan written. And so if it's already written, like, why am I nervous if it's already written? You know what I mean? So if I just lay it all on the line and whatever happens, happens, I just know it's meant to be. And so if I'm ever nervous to the point where I'm not, letting go and just letting it fly, then that's where it's like, I'm messing up a little bit. So I'm expecting, of course, nerves. I haven't lost since the Olympics, I think. So, so far I'm undefeated, and that's the goal, is just to keep going. But you know what, like, I'm just going to let this, I have more confidence, if anything. It's like, all right, let's keep the ball rolling. I know my shots are there. I know I could score whenever I want, stuff like that. And so these nerves are really, I'm turning it more into a positive way, if anything. So yeah.
Take us through your training situation. You mentioned Tom Brands and Israel Martinez.
Yes.
Do you kind of go back and forth between Illinois and Iowa training with both those?
Yes. So actually, after college season ended, I went to Hawkeye Wrestling Club just so I could have more partners with the guys. You know, the guys are great. They're amazing. They push me really hard. I mean, I get beaten up in there, but I mean, I score on them. So that's where I'm like, okay, like, you know, I'm actually not that bad. So, yeah, I've been training with Hawkeye Wrestling Club, and then June 1st is when, you know, I had a whole cycle where we had U.S. Open and then Pan Ams, and after Pan Ams, we really dialed it in for Final X, and so we split it. So I was with Hawkeye Wrestling Club for the first 2 weeks, and then I went back home with Coach Izzy for the last 2 weeks, and then so both of them will be in my corner, and you know they've been communicating back and forth, so we all have a similar plan. But the main thing is just to get both coaching styles and different partners, because Izzy Style has a lot of great partners over there, and Coach Izzy was really able to like really dial it in on just me. And so it was great. And they have an amazing relationship. So, you know, at the end of the day, like after college season, that's going to be like my routine is having Coach Brands and Izzy in my corner. And so far, it's worked out amazing. You know, they were both in my corner for U.S. Open, and then Coach Izzy went with me for Pan Ams, and so yeah, it's been great.
What do you like about training with Kylie Welker, who is your teammate at Iowa?
Mm-hmm.
How is that benefiting you?
Yeah, you know, training with Kylie has been great. You know, she's super tough. She's, you know, a weight class heavier than me, so it's great that, you know, when I'm training with a bigger girl, I feel like I need to use my power all the way to the max, to where when I'm, you know, on the mat, you know, I'm so used to training with someone bigger that my power is there, you know. And then Kylie, she's, you know, fast, she's strong, so her technique is great too. So, you know, she's always keeping me on my toes. I need to be wary. It's not going to be an easy, you know, go. So, you know, I love it. And then the best part is Macy too. It's like all three of us, you know, we cycle with each other, and so we're all just pushing each other. And all of us we're not similar in wrestling style, you know. So the best part is that all of our styles are very similar to world stage styles. So like what Macy has, you know, maybe the Ecuadorian has, and then what Kylie has, maybe the Chinese girl has. So it's just great, like cycling all three of us. And yeah, like, you know, once me and Kylie were opponents, and now we're teammates and we're at different weight classes. So it's going to be cool to keep training with each other and, you know, show it off on the world level.